The ocean breeze, the rippling streams, all murmur softly in their golden dreams. The Bowen Island change and grow, and many other voices come and go. I'll walk upon this holy ground and hear the ancient voices in the sound. And I do hear the ancient voices in the sound. The ancient voices of the Squamish people who tended this land for thousands of years. And I honor the original poets, the original storytellers, the original singers. And I know I can hear their voices because we put up that sign. The Squamish Nation name for Bowen Island, Nuchlelapam. And since then, we've been told, so we had the Squamish Nation elders come and bless the sign. We did a beautiful ceremony. And Dennis Joseph, Squamish Nation elder, said, we have built a mighty bridge between our two cultures. So now I know they can hear us and we can hear them. So welcome everybody in this cozy little, on this soggy day. We were supposed to be, maybe some of you know, we were supposed to be in that beautiful room over there. It's really comfy and cozy and everything. However, there is some smoke alarm that will not shut up. And so you wouldn't hear anything. So the library staff, and I have to say, this is a partnership between me and the library. And they were so accommodating. I said, oh, can we do it over there? There's space there. And they said, sure. And they moved everything. We moved heaven and hell and earth and everything, and just getting it all here. And so did other people that came in and helped him. And so I've been working with the library staff for several years now in partnership, and starting with the reconciliation initiative that I started 7 years ago called Knowing Our Place, and we did a lot of events here. We did one up at Artisan Square before they moved here, and the library is my favorite place, and it's just I just love working with them. They help the planning, they help the marketing. They make beautiful posters. Marisha, who doesn't like me to mention her, but Marisha makes the beautiful posters, and they're always good, but this one is especially beautiful because of the artwork she had to work with, which is my dear friend Julia Hainotsky, all the way from Calgary, brilliant visual artist, and she donated this for the book. Okay, so you might notice an empty chair. This is a chair for my friend Chris Corrigan. We spent the better part of a day. He's read my book many times, he loves my poems, and so we spent all this time creating a framework where it would be a back and forth, a duo, with me reading poems, him commenting, asking questions. It was going to be so fun. And so on Thursday morning, I get a call from Chris. He's in Ontario. He just finished doing a great big workshop, and he tested positive for COVID. So I went, okay, right. Right, this is going to be great. This is going to be really fun. And so, you know what? Now, where's that piece of paper? Okay, so I'm on the phone. He says, Pauline, you can do it. And this is what I wrote down. Words of wisdom from Chris on his sickbed. You can do this on your own, Pauline. The poems are amazing. I have learned from them that I can hold my illness lightly. That is the gift, the power of your work. An invitation to connect with the ancestors, to think about themselves, and to hold their own dying lightly. Now, there's two really important words in that. and that is hold and lightly. It's not lightly to just say, oh, I'm really not dying. Well, I'm really not sick. I'm fine. It's like holding it, being with it, being present to it, but lightly. So there's a lot of funny things in my poems. So anyway, okay, so now what am I doing? I did all the thank yous and everything. Okay, so what I've had to do, okay, I am no stranger to this kind of event changing place. This would be like 1978 when I did the Edith Piaf show at the Belfry in Victoria. And at intermission, the lights went off. And they said, oh, well, this is what happens because of the underwater cables, whatever. So I went, okay. So the artistic director was going to send everybody home. I said, well, wait a minute. It's dark out there. There's no street lights. And I said, it's okay. So there was me doing all the Piaf songs, and then there was a woman playing her sister and two men playing all her many lovers. And so I said, well, and there was a big grand piano and a nice band. So I said, okay, well, I'll just sit on the piano and the band can put little candles on the music stands and they can play all the music. And I'd been doing the show, was my second time doing the show because I'd done it first in Vancouver. And I said, I'll just tell her story. Say, okay, and then she did this, and then she fell in love with so-and-so, and then this happened, and then that happened. And he said, okay, so then he went to the audience and said, okay, phone your babysitters, make sure your kids are okay. We're going to do the show, but in a different way. And there were people holding flashlights, and there was some emergency lighting and stuff. And so they said, if you're not happy with the performance, you can get your money back. Nobody wanted their money back. And then years later, when I'm on Galiano Island visiting somebody, and she says, I was in the audience the night the lights went on. It was the most important moment of theater in my life, So, not that this is going to be the most important book watching. But thank you very much to the library staff for moving us all in this cozy little place. Okay, so now I'm going to start doing poems. Okay, so I've got a program. So I spent all day Friday changing things around because now this is a solo instead of a duo, right? Oh yeah, I got to remember one thing that Chris said he was going to do. So everybody's supposed to just arrive. So he was going to say, so everybody take 5 deep breaths, close your eyes, and let go of all that you had to do to get here, right? And just take some breaths together. I'm a professional breather. On a grassy field, glistening with dew, the doe chose to give in to gravity. A frequent guest, one I had fed greens and carrots whenever the ground was snow-shrouded. I discovered her one morning, quiet, composed. Her legs extended, her neck stretched in repose. For her, dying was as natural as living, as natural as lying down. Can it really be this simple? Will my animal body know what to do? When my time comes, will I sing, lay me down, oh, lay me down under the apple tree. So a lot of the poems come out of things I observe in the natural world. And so this, and the reason I started with that poem, that's the first poem in the book, it's called Becoming the Harvest, is because I wanted the reader to know right away that I was asking questions about the end of life. I didn't have the answers, But I was exploring this, and what it means, to grow old, and what it means to age. So one of the other poems that comes out of the natural, it's a little bit different, but it's called Pollen. Bumblebees buzz. I just found out with a very specific frequency to shake the pollen from the flower. It's the vibration does the trick. Just like that honey voiced man buzzing at the perfect pulse, so I couldn't help but shake off my flower dress. I still wear the dress on occasion, but this old body stopped making pollen years ago. You gotta laugh at some of these things, right? So another one that came out of the teachings from nature is called, oh yeah, and I have to do a show and tell with this one after. So I'm an avid gardener, I love gardening. And I grew this Chinese lantern plant. I don't know if you know this beautiful plant. So I'm watching it. And I had to write this poem about it because I'm learning a lot from the natural world about what it is to age, what it is to live, and what it is to die. So this is called Teachings of the Chinese Lantern in My Garden. In spring, youthful, heart-shaped leaves support tiny white flowers. In summer, the flowers transform into green pods. In autumn, the pods dress themselves outrageously in jack-o'-lantern orange. At the end of its life, the lantern, thin, translucent like the chiffon of my old hands, shelters a bright red berry, seed for the next generation. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what we're all here for, is to become seed for the next generation. And so here is when it's in its jack-o'-lantern phase. See, it's this cute little thing. But then when it's in the old age phase like me, there it is, so delicate. I have to handle it very carefully. And there's this bright red berry inside. And that's a seed for the next generation. And isn't that what we all aspire to do? And so you'll notice, well, you would have noticed if we were in the other room, but my friend Carol made some beautiful vases she went into the forest and found things going to seed that were so beautiful. And we found some clematis that's over there. When you go to the book table, you'll see that. And she bought these decals of things going to seed, and anyway, but that was going to be over there, and there's no. Anyway, it's all been changed. But it's about the seed things. Oh, and so this bowl is full of other seeds. I've got calendula seeds. Oh, and yeah, Kathleen. Okay, when Kathleen Ains found out that I'm doing this seedy thing, as this theme is going to seed, and she said, oh, well, I've got these scarlet runner beans, and so she brought them along, and I thought, yeah, some of the pods are in that little dish, but anyway, so it's just this wonderful thing. And when you decide that going to seed is important, and you see that everywhere you go in nature, and there's all this beautiful seed things. So if I accomplish anything in this short time with you, it's that I will change forever how you view going to seed. Because it's like, oh, he's gone to seed. That's what something awful. It's like the best thing we can do. So, okay, so what am I doing next? So what I'm doing next is, so I get inspired by mythology too. So, now when I was in my 50s, and I was wondering what's it going to be like to be an old woman in this culture. It didn't look very appetizing to me. So I started researching other cultures and how they view older women. I thought, oh, this is pretty good. That looks better. And so I ended up writing a lot of poems and songs about it. And my first CD was called Dancing with the Crone, because I just changed how we see the crone. Like, it's luscious, it's important, it's great. And I reframed how we see the hag and all the rest of that. But I forgot one, the harpy. You know the harpy? Okay, the harpy is like this monster, half woman, half bird, and she does terrible things. Well, you know, according to the old mythology. But, you know, that's not the way it is. She's old, of course, and she's ugly. Well, you know what? It's not the way it is. So I wrote, and that's what I'm going into. I'm going into that stage of the harpy. So better to me, right? So I wrote this poem called The Harpy. Oh, yes, there she is, waiting for me. Head and chest of a woman, wings and talons of a bird of prey, shrieking in that liminal space between what I was and what I am not yet, calling to me from that Greek myth. Look at yourself. You have wings. You're free. Look in the mirror. You have claws to grasp the truth, breasts to succor the needy, a head to navigate your way. Wings flutter at my back. My breasts fill with honey. My mind swells with possibility. The Greeks, afraid of old women, rightly so. So it's so fun to see everybody. And I realized I really have to up my game of writing, because I just love these events, right? And so it's like, well, I'm going to see my friends from Calgary and from Toronto and Vancouver and all these wonderful places. Then in Vancouver, I really need to just have more book launches. So, okay, this one, we're leaving mythology for a bit and going down to where I live right now. And this is a poem called God's Waiting Room. That's what my neighbor Ed called this place when I moved in 16 years ago. A seniors co-op. One-story row houses, light blue siding, and cedar trim. A common building with a lounge, sofas adorned with lacy antimacassars. Fortunately, they're gone, but when I moved in, they were there. There is an activity room with a piano and exercise bikes, some of which actually work. A common garden with raised beds for aging knees and backs. And a courtyard with Adirondack chairs for afternoon gossip. Old people on the board of directors, old people on the maintenance committee, old people spying on their neighbors through Venetian blinds. Old people pruning apple trees, this is true. Old people pruning apple trees, falling off ladders as they watch turkey vultures circling overhead. And we all say, not ready yet, not ready yet. Keeping busy down here, on standby at heaven's door.
What are you drinking?
This is fennel tea. Why? You think that... Oh, you said something when I came in. What was it that you said about the noisy smoke alarm? You said...
I said they should replace it with the batteries you have in you.
That's my dear friend Herb, who comes to all my launches and stuff. I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so where are we going next? Okay, so that's why I have a program, because Chris isn't here to nudge me, so where's next? Okay. I think I remember. Oh, I know. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my earlier history. This is a poem called, and I wasn't going to do this, but it's kind of personal, but it's good. It's good for people to know. Okay. Too much of a good thing. I was born with an extra lung. The gods must have decided this one's going to be a singer. 3 lungs, but really only 2 of them any good for singing, really. The extra one, unable to breathe. A spongy instrument of blood and passion, kept getting sick. You need to remove something like that, and they did. Half of the left lung, too, to be on the safe side. Toss the whole thing into the trash with the hospital sweepings. Never asked me if I wanted to keep it in the same drawer with wisps of my childhood hair. I saw a picture of lungs in a medical book. They look like angel wings surrounding and protecting the heart. My wing got clipped. My heart got a good glimpse of the world. Maybe that's why I sing the blues. It's okay to clap, it makes me feel good. Now let's see where we are. Oh, I sure miss. Oh, you know why this hat is here? Because Chris Corrigan, for those of you who don't know him, he wears these big kind of Australian outback kind of hats, like kind of leather, to keep off the rain. And so I wanted to just keep a seat for him here. And this is not his hat, but it's the only closest thing I have, just because he said his spirit would be here. And I wanted to feel him here. So, and I do. Oh dear, now it's more going to stay. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now, Okay, this is the best part. Okay, so this, I have a deep love and respect for my ancestors. I have for many, many years. I have an ancestors' altar. I have researched them, often thanks to my niece Anne, who's a family historian, and she passes on all this information. And I have all their pictures up on a wall. And I invited them in here today to just help me do a good job here, to really inspire you and to offer what I can offer about my love for ancestors. And so, and the book really is a lot about my ancestors, and not just my family ancestors, but my artistic ancestors and my just neighbor ancestors, people that gave me so much just by being present in my life. And I wanted to honor them. And it was Chris, when we sat down and worked through this whole thing, he was the one that helped me to see, oh, you got a lot of things, this is what's happening. And I'm like, yeah, well, a poet, you just put it out there and then it's up to the reader to tell you what you've done, to really interpret it. And so this is why I'm wearing this beautiful shirt. I'm going to start crying now. Shoot. Anyway, so this shirt belongs to my oldest sister, Henriette, who died in January. She was 95 years old, had a good life, 9 kids, one of whom was Anne. And her kids went into her closet and looked to see what they could give me as a remembrance of her. And they gave me this beautiful shirt. And I love it so much, and I've been trying really hard not to get it wrinkled. But, things happen, and you move around or whatever. But I'm just so grateful to wear this. I wanted to wear this because to feel her energy here And it's a beautiful shirt to begin with, and it fits me perfectly. So I'm just so grateful for that. And it's like, and this time of year, when the veils are thin between the worlds, right, is a time when we honor the dead, our ancestors. And you know, people in Mexico, they got it right. They got it right. Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. They do not mourn their dead. They celebrate them. They celebrate what the ancestors gave to them. And I feel like this is what my book is doing in many of the poems, is celebrating and honoring these ancestors. And so I have a poem about them, and then I say, so it's remembering, so-and-so remembered, and then what I learned from it, what I learned. Because this is, we need to, what we learn from our ancestors, so important. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, so the first one is, I really need to drink some more tea. Some more of my fennel tea. Were you hoping I was drinking something like strong or something? What? Select? What?
Scotch.
Scotch. Oh God, I can't drink anything like that. I would be sick. Sick. So this one is for one of my artistic ancestors. And I'll go there. Yes. Oh, don't want to spill it. Oh, thanks, hon. Okay, it's because I put it in the crack. We've got two little, it's been very improvisatory, this whole thing, right? So, okay, so this one is called Remembering Jacques Brel, 1929 to 1978. With the fury of an abandoned lover, the rapture of an evangelical preacher, he sang song after song to break the heart, to wake the heart. His face framed in tears and sweat, his hands marking the pendulum of time, magnifying his pain that we might feel our own, leaving a scar in the night that would not heal. What I learned from Jacques Brel: sing with the blood rising inside me. Thank you. So this one, another remembering poem, is about my dad. It's called Remembering Gérard. Benevolent dictator, singing nonsense French ditties after scolding his many children. Whistled embraceable you. Can anybody whistle that? Anyway, he was a good whistler. Whistled embraceable you, doted on his wife until the stroke took her away. Remarried at age 80, mellowed with the years, less quick to judge. Age 94, winding down, fewer possessions, responsibilities, needs. All his earthly belongings kept safe in a nursing home bedside table. My mother's rosary, her wedding ring, a collection of rubber bands with unknown purpose, and a wealthy supply of chocolate. Oh, I forgot the one line. Oh yeah, he repurposed. He had a pharmacy. Repurposed chocolates faded in the sunny pharmacy window, folded them into his famous fudge. So of course he'd have a bedside table full of chocolates. What I learned from my father: there are many ways to find sweetness in life. So, and 80, so I'm 80, and I thought, oh my God, I'm not getting remarried at 80. Sorry, that's not one of the things So we probably notice that we don't like the D word. We find all these ways to get around saying it. So I have to write a poem when some things just happen to you. You just have to write a poem about. So this poem is called "Avoiding the D Word." Would you rather give up the ghost or kick the bucket? If you're a fan of mythology, you might prefer crossing the Styx. For gamblers, cash in your chips and go to one's reward. If you're a student, you would definitely want to pass. Paleontologists would go the way of the dinosaur. And gardeners would be pushing up daisies. Insomniacs would be truly grateful for eternal sleep. And creationists would, of course, want to meet their maker and go to glory. As for me, when I realize it's the final curtain, time for me to croak, I'll pause for a moment, sing my swan song, and die. So part of the process, I've been working on these poems for years, right? And so part of the process was like imagining what this could look like, and I don't like the way, this is why I became a writer many, many years ago. This is my 5th book. Oh, by the way, this day is very special for me, because on this day, October 27th, I gave birth to my first child, Renee. And my 5th book today, so that feels pretty good. So yeah, imagining what it could be like, and then, I just see how our culture sees things, and I think that there's got to be a better way to see this. So this one's called "The Angel of Death." What if dying is not a struggle with the grim reaper armed with a scythe? What if dying is more like an angel, an elegant angel in fine Italian leather shoes, tapping you on the shoulder saying, "May I have the last dance?" Sometimes it's a waltz, sometimes a tango, sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow. You keep right on dancing till the music stops. So a lot of the inspiration from the book came from a very important experience in my life about 18 years ago. So my beloved sister, older sister, Suzanne, was diagnosed with ALS. And she'd been on her way to China. The doctor said, "You're not going anywhere." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'll be your guide dog. I'll just take you up the steps of the Fu Manchu temple," or whatever the heck it is, "and make sure you take your meds." And the doctor said, "Not going anywhere." So I decided to go on this ALS journey with her. And so we managed to keep her at home. And siblings would come by and all that. And she was in Ottawa, so I would finish my work, go for 3 weeks and be with her, come back do some vocal classes and writing and go back. And it was a most incredible, deep, intimate experience of my life. And we grew so close. And so I wrote an essay about this. It's towards the end of the book, because it was such a pivotal experience for me to be with her. And the book, in fact, is dedicated to her, dedicated to my beloved sister, Suzanne. And it really changed the way I saw life and death. It really changed how I saw this. So I massaged her because she was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I massaged her because she was in a lot of pain, and I'd climb into bed with her when she really needed to be held. And so when I was there when she died, and I told the night nurse that I would like to wash her body. I hadn't really done this before, but I just felt I'd spent so much time caring for her body. So this is the poem that comes out of this experience. It's called Blessing the Body. The night nurse offers guidance. I offer song as I place the washing cloth into warm water and slowly cleanse Suzanne's cooling body. I wash her hands, graceful in prayer in the convent years ago. Hands correcting French essays. Hands writing irregular verbs on the blackboard. I wash her face, so much like mine, slim now from the illness, free of worry. I wash her pilgrim's feet that travel to museums, art galleries, and architectural digs, and dry them with her favorite towel. I've been told the sense of hearing is the last to go, so I believe she hears my improvised songs, my words of gratitude and endearment. Dear face, you were loved. Dear hands, you were loved. Dear feet, you were loved. Dear belly that birthed 2 children, you were loved. Dear bright spirit, you will always be loved. When we finish washing her body the way an infant is washed at birth, we dress her in the colorful kaftan sewn by an older sister. I have no training in this ritual. I have not learned the perfect prayers. So when they take Suzanne away, I go into her living room, sit at her old upright piano, and in the best way I know, say goodbye again. I watch the sun turn night into day, and the morning birds sit on her trees and begin to pray. I ask you, ain't that a miracle? Ain't that a miracle? And it's happening every day. I sang for my sister at her very last hour. Then I closed her eyes, the sweetest of flowers. Ain't life a miracle? Ain't death a miracle? And it's happening every day. A love like hers never dies. It will carry me through these sad goodbyes. Her love's a miracle. My love for her is a miracle, a miracle, a miracle. And it's still happening. I feel it. It's happening. I know that it's happening every day. Now, not all the songs I wrote for her were like that. So when she was going through this is a funny one. So I just can't leave you there. I can't leave you there. She was a very low-tech person, like me. No microwave, no stuff, no new gas, no nothing, right? And so, but with ALS, the ALS people, they give you beds and Aquatex and all these fantastic equipment, right? She especially liked her Aquatech because you sit in this chair and it turns you on the tub and then you press a button and it drops you in. It's like she was just so delighted. So there's all these things. So it's a little Susie, I'm going to write a song about that. So it's called hats off to my high-tech sister. She's so with me. Hats off to my high-tech sister. Hats off to my sister Suzanne. Her bed goes up and down, in and out, and when you see her bathtub you will want to shout, hats off to my high-tech sister. Hats off to my sister Suzanne. Oh, so she had a little walker that she called her trottinette. Take a stroll in her trottinette, and how about a dip in the aquatech? Hats off to my high-tech sister. Hats off to my sister Suzanne. And though her body's getting small, her heart is big enough for all. Hats off, shoes off, shirts off, pants off to my high-tech sister. About this is somebody would come to visit and she'd say, singing that song, and, oh my God. And so when the guy came to put in a raised toilet seat, singing that song, and okay, whatever. So that's the essay towards the end of the book, and it was, for me, the most important thing to write. So I'm going to leave you with one last poem before the food's going to come out, and the books are over there, and cash check or e-transfer for the modern people. Because nobody has cash or checks anymore except me. So, okay, so this is the one poem that this comes out of my studies with Brian Swim, a mathematical cosmologist and physicist. And from him I learned the evolutionary story of our 13 billion-year-old universe and the 4 billion-year-old Earth that we live with. And I highly recommend this study to anybody, because boy, does it ever give you a perspective on your short little life, you know. So here's the poem. It's very short. It's called Blooming. Earth is 4 billion years old and still beguiling us with flowers. A project she began in her dotage. Who knows what deep inside all of us is still waiting to bloom. Okay, now I'm supposed to thank you. That's the end of that. I'm supposed to thank everybody now. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Matthew, who was supposed to be playing the cello, but there was no place to do that. Thank you for Julia coming, for the beautiful artwork, and for coming here. Thank you, Vicki Johnston at Caitlin Press. She did such a beautiful job on this book. This is my second book with Caitlin. The first one's called Whale in the Door. It's over there. She just was so gracious. Oh, and I got to tell you, well, I have history with her. When I sent her the Whale in the Door book to be published, and she said, she phoned me and she said, well, I normally never read these things that come in, because she has an assistant to do that and weed out the ones that are not going to work for them. And so she started reading my application. This is like 8 years ago, and she said, I know this woman. I know Pauline Le Bel, because when I was doing the Piaf show at Vancouver City Stage, I was 33, she was the assistant stage manager, 18 years old, and she did the lights, and the lights were very important in the show, and I went, Vicky, and she's, I'm sorry I don't remember you, Vicky, but the lights were great, the lights were great. Anyway, so thank you, Vicki Johnson and Clayton Press. Thank you, Erica, my team, Erica, Paul, Andrea, Carol, and Barbara. Well, yeah, you're going to be serving people are going to be serving things, and Marisha, thank you so much. And Marisha, you wanted to say something, right? Is it now?
I just wanted to thank you so much, and yeah, on behalf of the library, we've worked with Pauline on her program ideas for several years now, and we love doing it. She brings wonderful things to Bowen Island, her own things, and Indigenous programs as well. So thank you, Pauline, so much from us, and thank you all for being so flexible today. We really appreciate it. And I kind of think it's wonderful that it's in the kids section where life begins.
Whoa!
Right?
Excellent.
Yeah, because we have books for babies, you know,
Wow.
and families. So, well, the bookends of life. Thank you, Pauline.
Thanks, Marisha and Leah, for doing this. This is Anne, who is doing the recording. This is my beloved niece, came all the way from Toronto.
I just want to thank you for my family and our ancestors for adding your artistic touch to this incredible record to carry on. Thank you. And these lovely flowers, I forget the name, but they had Carmanthus. They had some wonderful seed thing happening, so I figured that was.
So remember, going to seed is a good thing. Okay, so the people are coming out. Is the punch ready, hun? It looks like yes, the punch is ready, and food's going to come out and be served. Dominique, are you going to go serve? But you get a Dominique's going to be serving. You want to serve, and so it won't be a place. It won't be a buffet table. They're going to come and give you a serviette and they're little bites. They're little bites. And Anne and I forgot. Anne and I made going to seed balls. All things with seeds inside, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, whatever, all these, anyway, so enjoy them. And we put the ingredients on in case anybody's allergic to anything. But the other stuff is from Maureen, and I don't know what's in there. I'm just gonna have to. You have that. Take some chance. Thank you so much for coming.